Well, I'm down here cutting on that stream bottom. It's almost up to freezing now. You know, we've had real cold weather. I mean, we've had a lot of 15 below, 20 below. But today, it's actually going to get above freezing. And so I kind of figured I better get my rear in gear here and get these out of here, or I will never get them out of here. So I cut this piece all into lengths. There's some ash, some oak, kind of a mix. But part of it is too, the trail I have that goes down here, I'm driving on hard packed snow. I don't know if you probably maybe not familiar with that, but you know, you keep driving over, the snow keeps building up, and pretty soon you got a hard packed trail that's like a foot above the ground. And as long as you stay on that trail, everything's fine. But come spring, when it starts thawing, then the bottom just drops out of the trail, and you drop right down. You know, so I figure I better get that before the bottom drops out. Though I know I got one day that's coming up, but it's going to get 5 below, I think tomorrow night, and I can maybe do it then. But one thing that I was going to talk about yesterday, and I kind of forgot about it, or kind of run out of time. You know, there's constantly these phone scams, you know, trying to get in your bank account and stuff. And I've had one of them go on for the last couple of months. I've been getting like odd text messages and stuff from weird, you know, where they don't show the number, or like the number is, say unknown, or sometimes it'll say like 1001 or 1002, or, you know, but they're not real phone numbers. You know, and, you know, that's gone on and on. You know, it didn't really concern me too much because I don't normally keep a lot of money in my debit card account. You know, it's what I do is I'll put in, if I'm going to order, because what I use it for really is for things I order online. So if I'm going to order something, I'll put money in the account, and then it's out of the account right away again. And I figured it was some kind of a scam brewing, so you know, but they want you to try to log into your account, you know, to reaffirm it and all this stuff. But like I said, I wasn't too concerned. I think I had $6.15 in there, so there was no great jeopardy. But yesterday when I was in town, then I run a little money in and out just to check it out. Yeah, you know, there was nothing there. But you know, you really get tired of them scams constantly going on. And I happened to see it when I was in town yesterday. I never see a newspaper, but I happened to see one yesterday in an aisle someplace, and then it said, yeah, this region was being targeted by some scam outfit. But you know, it's kind of funny, you know, people in the Midwest are very trusting, but for some reason, you know, people get the idea then that they're gullible. They aren't gullible, you know, they aren't stupid. But like I say, well, there was one going on. But I was going to try to find, though I can't really see on my screen here now. There was somebody who had a video up the other day, you know, because them calls that come in all the time and then text, they're just a plain nuisance. You know, I get very few phone calls, so it always freaks me out when my phone rings. And, you know, it always startles me. I'm not used to that. But there was somebody who put up a video that was very informative. And I put it in my favorites, and I was just gonna, okay, the channel name is GUNZandCARs, and I will put that in the description, because it says how to stop telemarketers, because it tells you how to, well, it tells you how to get on the do not call list, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, criminals don't register guns, you know, it's the same kind of deal, they don't care. But you can get on the do not call list, but also it tells you how to block certain numbers, and even like the unknown numbers and all that stuff. You know, so I'll I can't put a link because I'm kind of person non grata on YouTube, but I will put the name of the channel in and you can look it up. But good thing to know. You know, it's very informative. But it's called How to Stop Telemarketers. And it's Guns and Cars. But, oh, like I say, I'll put it on there. You know, you'd think with all the great ability of the NSA and the government in general, you know, to track down phone calls and all that stuff, I don't know why they can't get on that a little better, you know, because that's just plain out fraud, just very annoying, and people get ripped off. It must work, or they wouldn't keep doing it. But it would be nice if they would get acid gear to actually take care of some of that stuff, and maybe kind of straighten out that Nigerian royalty that keeps sending email out all the time, or ex-royalty. You know, they can take care of that stuff. They're not doing any good otherwise. Another thing I was going to mention, you know, this whole thing going on with Russia. You know, you really have to watch our news media, or any of the Western news media. Well, any news media in general. Fuzzy Fork sent me a link to some quotes by Thomas Jefferson, and one of them was, if the only thing you read is newspapers, you'd be better educating not reading at all. You know, it really can warp your whole opinion on stuff. You know, look to other sources. Don't go by what the news tells you. You know, because it really bothers me to see, you know, Obama talking trash, you know, and getting tough, you know, all this rubbish, you know, and I tell you, you know, that bluffing and carrying on might work in Washington with those politicians, but that ain't going to work with Putin. That's just foolish to think that he'll, I mean, I'm sure he just laughs about this nonsense. You know, I ain't saying right or wrong, I mean, but it is what it is, and that bluster that we're putting on, and I know, yes, some of you guys, you know, wave the flag and thump your Bibles and all this crap, but no good will come of this. You know, trying to build up the Cold War again isn't a smart thing to do. You know, because some of the reaction on some of them people in Washington was, put more missiles in Poland. Well, God damn, that's just what you need. You know, we got to quit, you know, poking around there with our spooks, stirring up as much trouble as they can, putting in these puppet governments. You know, it just never works. You know, it's insane. You know, the idea that you could keep trying to do something, have it always fail, have the same result, but yet ahead go and do it again. You know, that's insanity, and we just keep doing it. But I think it's partially a distraction. But on that vein, you know, it discourages me that, you know, it's very childish, but the reaction has been. But I was going to say there was a guy I subscribed to called Moscowprepper. Now, he's actually, I think, Danish, but he's lived in Russia for, I think, like 3 years or something. Interesting. I like the, you know, international channels, but he's got an interesting take on it, and so I'll put his name in here too, and you can check that out. But it's nice to hear from somebody actually on the ground, kind of, so to speak. But it's just really disturbing to see him, you know, blowing this stuff up. You know, we bring on this stuff all the time, you know, as if we ain't got enough to do it. Start making threats, you know, poking the bear. You know, it's just foolish to poke the bear. It's a good way to lose your hand.